Hello, I'm Alex, the Bacano insurance journalist. I like saving you money on health, life, all forms of insurance, but I got something that I enjoy doing more, which is answering questions that you have regarding insurance. Received a question today about a person who is curious to see whether their spouse could or should stay on their policy following a divorce, meaning that they have now become an ex-spouse. There's reasons why that would make sense or would make sense. Let's learn more. The question at hand is whether a spouse who is getting divorced should be maintained on an insurance policy. We're talking about health insurance here in particular. There's some reasons why that would make sense. Some reasons why one partner would feel morally obligated to make sure that their former spouse is given access to health insurance. Perhaps they're not able to get it on their own for various reasons. We're talking about financial instability. We're talking about not having consistent employment. There are several causes as to how we get there, perhaps even severe medical problems that would be impacted by a break in health insurance. Now, the question is, for those people that choose to do that, how can they best accomplish that? Well, there's several ways. The first way is that they can just be, I call it cold-blooded. I call it being very effective and to the point. And that is to say that they look at the situation and they say, this individual that was once a former spouse will now have to qualify for Medicaid if financially unstable. This is a kind of cold-hearted move, but it's also controlling for risk. It's also ensuring that there's nothing that takes place regarding risk that the other person is exposing themselves to in regards to severe medical bills tied to severe illness. Now, there's also a second alternative choice here that can take place for individuals who find themselves in that situation, that they want to be sincere, they want to be kind, they want to ensure that their former partner has access to health insurance. Another way to do this, another way to resolve this dilemma, is to go ahead and to get the other person a separate insurance policy, as would normally occur perhaps under the free market or ACA marketplace, and that premium would then be covered by the former spouse. This is kind of the middle ground, right? It's not the first process or the first step here where we have a situation in which the spouse is taking on risk. Here, there is a separation of risk. The new insurance policy is for the former spouse and the former spouse only. It's just that the actual premium, the responsibility that the former spouse has to take on as far as payment is being handled by their prior partner. This is kind of a middle ground. It's a very smart way of doing it, actually. The last option, which is kind of an emotional one, and I don't know how people can balance this. I'm really impressed by those that can. It's mind-boggling, actually, that they can pull this off. And what I'm referring to is going ahead and just legally separating, meaning that they are not divorced, meaning that the person could theoretically stay on that policy because they are still connected to the other individual by not having been divorced. Now, this, of course, brings with it the risk of further debts that are taken on by having this person on the policy, but it is also humanitarian in a way because it doesn't allow for the other person to go adrift without necessary health insurance. Here's my thoughts on all this. Someone in that situation to think long and hard about what they're exposing themselves to. A divorce is a very heartbreaking process. It's also a moment where separation should technically occur. Things need to be kept apart. Now, it is inherently a beautiful thing to be a considerate human being and to not let the other person suffer needlessly. But there's also something to be said about ensuring that the future of that person is distinctly separate from your or that person's future, rather, I should say. There are other questions, of course, related to health insurance and divorce. I made an excellent video, phenomenal video. I highly recommend you take a look at it because it answered a very important question tied to health insurance that has to do with families, and that is, how do we make the decision regarding who is going to take on the responsibility or the onus of providing health insurance for children within a divorce? This guide is a great guide to ensure that you're not putting yourself in that situation where you're taking on undue stress or burden just trying to unravel that issue. Take a look, It is worth your time. As always, I want to go ahead and thank you for watching this video. Make sure to comment before you head out, sharing your experiences as to what took place in your situation regarding your particular health insurance scenario that mirrors this or was very similar. Additionally, if you like the comment, go ahead and smash that like button. It helps grow the channel, and make sure to subscribe. Also, I'd like to go ahead and recommend another video that may help you, because if you are with a spouse, make sure to check out the video that is attached at the end screen. Take care. Bye.